The United Nations is being accused of helping facilitate mass illegal immigration into the United States, possibly running the largest human trafficking operation ever carried out. Now, the United Nations International Organization for Migration, IOM, which many of you know we've talked about before, is now finally being exposed more broadly. And it turns out that, yes, they get money from the U.S. government, which means it's coming from your tax dollars. And your tax dollars are paying for them to play a key role in assisting people looking to use the amnesty system to gain entry to the United States.
The United Nations, it turns out, is spending hundreds of millions of dollars in cash handouts, food, shelter, something called humanitarian transportation, really every human need that is required to make the long journey through Latin America, Central America, and Mexico. And who pays the UN? Who's the UN's major funder? It's the U.S. taxpayer is paying for this.
New York Post had this. The United Nations just released the 2024 Inter-Agency Coordination Platform for Refugees and Migrants from Venezuela. Remember, this is just about Venezuela. It's bigger than this, so keep in mind this is just a small piece. And it notes that a planning and budget document for handing out $1.6 billion in 17 Latin American countries, and it confirms, finally, that the United Nations, with the helping hands of 248 named non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, is indeed giving debit cards to illegal migrants, funded in large part by U.S. taxpayers. Zero Hedge said this. Meet Amy Pope, an open borders advocate, Obama apparatchik, and an accomplice of DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. As the UN's Deputy Secretary of the International Organization of Migration, IOM, the preeminent NGO in the field of migration, she plays an integral role in the illegal alien surge at our southern border. Further in, it states, her coronation occurred at the United Nations 87th Assembly, meeting with world leaders on human mobility, quote unquote, to harness the power of migration, quote unquote, where migration is a powerful driver to fulfill the UN's Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development Goals. Remember, the United Nations has Agenda 2030, and that includes 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the socialist wish list of all the things they want to change in the world. And they're saying that they need illegal immigrants to do it. They need to bring, it seems, the entire southern hemisphere of the world and flood it into the northern hemisphere, almost entirely into the United States, maybe Canada, and of course into Western Europe. Now, this woman who's the head of the IOM, she's proud to be moving tens of millions of people, it says, from their land of origin to destabilize Western host nations.